So we took these 7 indexes and we said, well, how do you compare in these 7 indexes against these communities? Let's see the next slide. So we compared you to Nashville and Austin and Raleigh and Savannah and Charlotte. We chose aggressive benchmarks. Actually, a smart committee from the chamber chose very aggressive benchmarks. They said, we want to know how we stack up compared to these communities. And what do you think? I mean, posit the result right now. Top, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth? Top. Let's see the results. Oh, did you hear that? Some people were like, ooh, ooh, and others were like, oh. All right. In these 7 indexes, so these 7 indexes take over 59 variables, we normalize them and we lay them out in a ranking for you. Charleston is 3rd, behind Austin and Research Triangle. That's pretty good, y'all. That's really good. Now, the other thing to look at, however, is the distance in the far right-hand column. See average there? The distance between 2nd and you at 3rd, right? So there's a gap. There's a gap. So what do we do to grow some of these metrics, to improve some of these metrics? We put together 24 recommendations for you, and I'm not going to go through all 24. In fact, I'm going to hit on some of the highlights. But one of the things to be thoughtful of is that this is a full court press, right? We don't just increase one and hope for the best in another. So the 16 projects that your incoming chairperson was talking about, many of these are aligned with these very things, right? So what does it take to get from 3rd to 2nd, from 2nd to 1st? Well, I think the first realization is to say, you know, it's one thing for people to move here and say that they love living here. These metrics, these indexes, are things that people love about place, but if we can improve them, then what we're showing is that the community can love you back, right? So, let's look at the very next slide because we lay this out in a slightly different way. What we've done in this slide for the data geeks in the house is we've normalized all the ones who like love Excel, right? So for you guys, what we did is, I'm looking at you, the accountants and the actuaries and the engineers. We've normalized all of the Peer Cities data to give them scores of 5 so that you can really see how you stand out or not in these indexes. And it sort of isn't surprising that in the after hours index, you are off the charts. It's outstanding. It's outstanding. It's not surprising because you are such a great place for people to visit. And places that people love to visit tend to be very vibrant places, like Buenos Aires, right? So that's terrific. So how do you take that great after-hours score and turn the volume up even higher? Because I'm a big believer that you focus first on your strengths, right? Well, what if there was an app? Right? A location-based app where we could punch in January 10th. It would, obviously, our smartphones would know what time it is. And if we were in the mood for some live music, we could type that in, and up would pop a map of all the places where live music was happening. Touch the arrow. It shows who the band is, what time, if there's cover, right? Imagine if all that intelligence was in your pocket. Why is it important? Because for those of you who are boomerangers and transplanters, you've told me that this is what happens. You move to Charleston, but you kind of have to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody to know what's happening in the community. Something like an app makes all that transparent, right? It means anybody with a smartphone can know what's going on and where it's happening. You don't have to wait to meet the brother of the mother of the person who's lived here their whole life, right? So that's a way to take what you're already doing really well and just turn up the volume a little bit. Let's keep going around the horn, okay? So if we're in the after hours is in sort of the 10 o'clock position, we go to the around town index, right? For our next generation, they don't want to buy cars. Detroit is freaking out because Detroit thought that the millennial generation would be the next big generation of car owners. But the car is no longer a status symbol for the next generation. You know what the status, what is the status symbol for the next generation? It's life, or I was thinking of a phone, right? Your kids are jonesing for the next version of the phone, whatever it is. So now put this together. The car is no longer, we know that the car was very important for previous generations because many of you can report things that happened in cars. Important life-changing events that happened in cars, right? For the next generation, there's not that sort of love affair with the car. The love affair is with the gadget that enables their social life. But now what has happened is, not only does the next generation not care so much about cars, but every state now, I think, has passed a law that says no texting while driving, which is a very smart law. But from the lens of the next generation, that means you are just cutting into my social time, right? By saying I cannot text while I'm driving. And then in addition, the next generation is very freaked out about the environment, and they see cars as sort of being like eco-bombs on wheels. So for the next generation, they want to get around town in a way that is car optional. So as we're thinking about our multimodal transit plan in this area, we have to think about how to put pedestrians and bicyclists, right, as important as we put our cars. Because at the end of the day, cities are for people. Cities are for people, not for cars, right? Third thing, vitality index. We've got some work to do here. Others of these communities are healthier. So what we know, for example, is you have 10 farmers markets in the MSA. Austin has 15. How can we put people in the way of healthy food, cooked at great local restaurants, where the chefs have seasonal menus, right? All of those kinds of things. I want to just touch on one more thing, and it's social capital. You have, in this community, amazing low-country hospitality. I mean amazing. But when I talk to your transplant community, they say visiting and living here are two different things. And it gets exponentially more difficult if you are not Caucasian, if you maybe don't go to the same church as everyone else, and if you don't have relatives who are here, right? So how do we take what we know how to do well, which is to say, y'all come, right? How do we take that and transfer it, not just for our tourists who are so valuable to our economy, but to say it to talent as well, right? Because talent doesn't know race, and talent doesn't know gender, and talent doesn't know religious orientation. Talent just is. And if Charleston wants to be a city of the future, it has to welcome all talent, all of it.